Hi guys! Today's video is somewhat of a disappointment, not hopefully in content but just in terms of what I had planned to do. I've got a lot of videos planned at the moment. I've got some videos that I'm really excited about. I'm going to do my DVD box set collection, so I want to do a video with all of them, and I want to come up with my own Once Upon a Time tag because I feel like I could come up with some good questions for that. And I'm going to do my top 5 movie soundtracks, which is inspired by a video over on Rihanna from Rihanna Toria's channel. So I've got lots of things planned, but this week the scenario with work kind of changed up this week, so I've been really busy with work, and then I'm going away for the weekend for my friend's hen weekend, so I'm not going to be able to film then. I've only got like this evening, a short period of time this evening to actually film something, so I thought that I would just come on, see if I could find a tag video to do. And I found another TV series tag, and there's quite a few of these out there, but I don't think people really know about them, which is such a shame because they're really good. And this one's got some really good questions in it, so I'm just going to answer them. There are 28 questions in this tag, so you know me, we could be here for a while. So what I'm going to try to do is just fly through them really quickly, and even if I'm not able to do that talking wise, I will just edit out my rambles. I found this video, by the way, over on a channel called Jade's Land. I'd never found this channel before, but I found this video and it was really good, so I'm going to go and check out some more of her videos once I have filmed this. Question 1 is best TV show pilot. And for me, the best TV show pilot ever was Lost. I think that will be quite a common answer to this question because it's one of those incredibly iconic pilot episodes. It's an incredible introduction to the tone of the show, the characters within the show. It sets up a lot of really interesting questions and gets you hooked immediately, and so absolutely my favourite. Question 2 is worst TV pilot. Now I'm sure there are TV pilots out there that I have watched that I've really not liked and I haven't continued on with the show, and I can't think what any of them would be, but I'm just going to answer this for TV pilot that I don't think is representative of how good the show is as it goes on, and that would be The American Office. The pilot episode is such a just carbon copy of the UK version of The Office, and as the show progresses and the series go on, it just grows into this wonderful, totally different experience of a show, and I just feel like the pilot's just not reflective of that. Question 3, best series finale. That for me will go to either Gilmore Girls or Lost again. I know a lot of people don't like the end of Lost. I think that it is perfect. I cry my eyes out every single time I watch it. I don't think that it could have been done any better, but for me, I was very invested in the characters, and I do understand that if people were more invested in the mystery side of things, why they might have been slightly disappointed. Gilmore Girls I felt just ended perfectly. I wrote an essay on this actually at uni, just talking about the fact that it wraps up everything that we've experienced with the show, and it brings our time with these characters to a close so nicely because it's kind of the end of an era in terms of what Rory's doing and what Lorelai's doing, and it's a nice new beginning for them in what could have been a season 8 but we never got to see, and I just felt it was rounded off beautifully. However, I have just given some thought to this, and I'm wondering if that could also be interpreted as best series finale, as in a season just in the middle of a show, in which case that goes to season 3 of Once Upon a Time. Best thing ever. Question 4, worst series finale. Hands down, Dexter. Just still not over that. Still not over the Dexter finale. I don't understand what happened there. A show that was so good for 6 whole seasons as Dexter, and then it dipped in season 7, and then they tried to regain control of it in season 8. Didn't quite get there, but the finale was just very upsetting for me. Favourite TV actress? I have a lot of answers for this, but if I am completely honest with myself, it would probably be either Kristen Bell, Jennifer Morrison or Lauren Graham. Favourite TV actor? Oh, that's difficult. Either Kiefer Sutherland as Jack Bauer, because I'll just always love Jack Bauer. Colin O'Donoghue I love in Once Upon a Time, I think he's incredible, and Matthew Perry as Chandler in Friends will forever be one of my favourite performances. He's just incredible, so yeah, those 3. Question 7, favourite reality star. I don't really have a favourite reality star, I'll be honest. I don't watch reality television really ever, it's just not really my thing. I like reality television in terms of things like X Factor and that kind of thing. I'm just going to be honest, I can't think of an answer for that question. Question 8, most disappointing cancellation. I will say for that Veronica Mars, because I was heartbroken when they cancelled Veronica Mars, but they then did do the movie to kind of rectify that a few years later, so that made it a little bit easier. Question 9, best theme song. Now this has to go to a very recent show, and that is The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. The theme song for that is just incredible, and it just gets stuck in your head, so definite thumbs up for that. Oh, questions 10 and 11 are going to be impossible. Question 10 is favourite female character. I have so many, but Again, they probably tie into the actresses that I like, so I would probably say Lorelai Gilmore from Gilmore Girls, Veronica Mars from Veronica Mars, Emma Swan from Once Upon a Time, and Regina from Once Upon a Time. Audrey Raines from 24, I loved Audrey. Spencer Hastings from Pretty Little Liars, I love Spencer. Yeah, we'll leave it there or we could be here all day. There's so many, I can't. I think if I had to just pick one, it would probably be Lorelai Gilmore. Favourite male character? Oh, this is a nightmare as well. At the moment, I would say Killian Jones from Once Upon a Time, but I've had a lot of favourite male characters in the past, so again, Jack Bauer, Sawyer from Lost, Desmond from Lost. Oh, Desmond from Lost could be potentially my favourite. Damon Salvatore and Elijah Michelson, actually Klaus Michelson as well. All the Michelsons I find fascinating, but Damon Salvatore I just think is a really interesting character, so yeah, he's on the list. Oh, these are impossible choices. Favourite male character at the moment is Killian Jones / Captain Hook in Once Upon a Time, but over my life throughout time I have had a lot of love for a lot of different male characters, so yeah, that's very difficult. Least favourite character, again, I have actually talked about this in videos before, but I do find that quite easy. That is Lila from Dexter. Was just made my blood boil, honestly. I couldn't cope with her as a person, so she's definitely my least favourite character in any TV show. Question 13, first TV show that you ever watched? I actually don't know the answer to this. I watched a lot of like children's shows and kids cartoons and all that kind of stuff when I was young, so I don't really remember what the first one would be, but I did watch a lot of things like, you know, all the kind of usuals if you grew up in the UK, so, you know, Rosie and Jim and Playbus, if you remember that, and all that kind of stuff. And then as I got a little bit older, I loved things like SMTV Live and Sabrina the Teenage Witch and the LA7, S Club 7 TV shows. So those were the kind of shows that I really liked when I was a child. Question 14, fastest binge watch. That is very easy. That goes to Pretty Little Liars, which I binge watched all 5 seasons of in the space of about 7 or 8 weeks this year. Question 15, favourite action show of all time. It's 24. I love 24. You know this. I've discussed my deep love for 24 so many times before. But at the moment I'm not really watching any action shows, so I don't have an answer for the moment for that, but of all time it would be 24. Favourite fantasy show is Once Upon a Time at the moment. I've watched various fantasy shows throughout my life, but at the moment I think it's not surprising to hear that the favourite is Once Upon a Time. Question 17, favourite comedy show. So difficult, but again I can't just pick one. But if I just tried to quickly pick a couple, they would be Friends, Arrested Development, Black Books and Fawlty Towers. They are ones that never fail to make me laugh. Question 18 we're going to bypass because it's favourite reality show and I don't really watch reality shows. Question 19 we're going to skip past because it's favourite TV show of all time and we know that I can't answer that. I think if I was forced I would probably have to say Lost, but there are just so many that are up there that that's a very difficult choice. Question 20, TV crush. So many, oh so many, but at the moment probably Julian Morris, who plays Wren in Pretty Little Liars, or again Colin O'Donoghue, who plays Captain Hook in Once Upon a Time. They are probably my 2 crushes of the moment, but throughout the history of time there have been a very long list. Question 21, show I regret watching. I don't think I have any regrets in terms of TV shows. There's never been one that I've watched and got to the end of and been like, why did I waste my time with that? There have been a few that I've probably given up on sort of before the end because I've just sort of run out of the love for it, but there's none that I actually really regret watching. Question 22, favourite animated show, probably The Simpsons. I actually am not really very up to date with The Simpsons. I've not seen a lot of the more recent episodes, but throughout my kind of teenage years I watched so much of The Simpsons that there are just so many moments of it that to even just sit and think about just make me laugh. Emma and I sometimes just talk about random moments in The Simpsons that really made us laugh when we were younger, and I'll just never probably lose my love for that, so yeah. Question 23, guilty pleasure show. I don't really have a guilty pleasure show because I don't really see the point in feeling ashamed of any of the shows that I watch because I watch them for a reason and I really enjoy them. I guess a lot of people would probably consider things like Pretty Little Liars guilty pleasure television, but I don't. I think there's a lot of merit in it, and so I'm not going to call it that. Question 24, most embarrassing watch. Again, I don't really have an answer for that because I don't really see the point in feeling embarrassed about any of the shows that I watch, but I took a minute there to try and see if I could come up with an answer for that, but there's nothing that I would not, I can't think of anything that I would not admit to watching, so I don't really feel embarrassed by any of my TV choices. Question 25, character whose wardrobe I would most like to steal. This is a question that's come up in a previous tag video, and so I have a very quick and easy answer for that. That would be Blair Waldorf from Gossip Girl. The girl has some seriously nice clothes, so I would be very happy to steal her wardrobe. Question 27, TV show OTP. Oh, how can I answer this? I'm actually going to do a separate video. That's a couple of other videos that I have planned for the next little while, are sort of fan related videos. So I do have a video on my kind of ultimate OTPs. I know the whole point of having an OTP is that there's only supposed to be one, but we'll just ignore that. There are a lot of couples who I am very much on board with in television, but at the moment it's Captain Swan from Once Upon a Time because they're just so cute. I can't even cope, and I just think that the story's been written very, very well in terms of these two characters. The backgrounds that each of them have and the things that they've been through and the connection that they've now formed, it's just lovely. So they are my current OTP. But oh, if you don't know what OTP is, by the way, just in case anyone watching this doesn't know, it is one true pairing, so the people who you really believe belong together within a TV show. So I say Emma and Killian, Emma and Hook, Captain Swan, however you want to describe them, they are my current OTP. And question 28, show you'd most like to be on. I think for this, for a long time it was the Vampire Diaries. I really wanted to be on the Vampire Diaries for ages because I just think it's such a, I've found it such a fascinating show. I'm a series behind, so I don't know what's been happening in season 6, so I'm going to catch up with that soon. But yeah, probably one of these like fun kind of teen ones, so Vampire Diaries or Pretty Little Liars, Once Upon a Time. Something like that I think would be like a really fun environment to be on, so I think that would be great. But I would also really like to be on a comedy show, so on something like The Office. So I've been watching a lot of bloopers from The Office, the American Office recently, because I've finished watching all 9 seasons now and it's come to an end and I can't bear to be parted from it. So I've been watching a lot of bloopers and it just looks like the environment would be so much fun. So I think from a sort of environment point of view, that would be a lot of fun to work on. Then from a kind of, I just think a story point of view, something like Vampire Diaries or Pretty Little Liars would be fun because it's always high drama, so that's got to be exciting. And then, you know, maybe later in life I'd like to be on something maybe like, I don't know, The Good Wife or something like that, something that's got kind of a bit more political substance to it or something like that. I don't know, but I think any of those shows would probably be fun to be on. So I rambled for long enough and it's now like, my hair is not sitting the way that I want it to be. And it is now 5 to 8 at night and it's got quite dark, so this lighting might be a problem in the video, but I've done it. I've got a video filmed for Sunday. I'm so pleased because I really don't want to miss a week. So I'm going to leave it there. I really hope that you enjoyed this, and if you are a TV show fan, I tag you to do this because it's a lot of fun. I want to just make my way around all the TV show tag videos. I'm going to make up one of my own actually at some point soon because I've got some ideas for questions that I would really like to ask, so I'm going to do that at some point soon. But this was quite a fun one just to fill the space for my Sunday videos. So I really hope that you have enjoyed that. I tag you to answer these questions. I will leave them in the description box down below and I will speak to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye! I forgot to add this into the male character section. I don't know how I could have managed to forget these people, but Jim Halpert and Michael Scott from The Office are 2 of the best male characters ever. A little bit different from anything that I have covered so far on my channel, but it is very much tied into my film TV obsession, and that is the Amazon Fire TV Stick.